Hey YouTube, Mitchell 30 coming back at you again today with another gun video. What you see in front of you here, for you World War II guys out there, probably already know what this is. This is a World War II Mosin Nagant 9130 PU Sniper. This is not a real PU Sniper. This is one I actually built off a Tula, 1938 Tula Mosin Nagant 9130. Which I know is going to upset some people, but it's my rifle. I bought it years ago for like $80. I cleaned out the barrel really well, and it's frosted, but it's still got lands and grooves, and it shoots good. I wanted to scope on it, and I wanted to do it in a way that I'm not putting any tactical stock or anything. I wanted to keep it original looking. So anyways, we'll get to the review, kind of show you what I did. Here's the scope cover. It's the original Russian scope cover. Get that guy off. So there it is. There's that scope mount, the PU scope mount with the PU scope, bent bolt handle, and the like I said, 1938 Tula. All matching numbers, except for this. I bought this bolt off of eBay. I just took the parts off my old bolt, and it has no serial number on it. It was ground down during the process of making this turn down bolt handle, but it works good. It looks good. It doesn't look exactly like an original, but it works well. So anyways, back into the rifle. This is a really fun gun to shoot. If you watch my other videos, you know that I built a 1903 A4 Sniper as well, and that rifle is much more accurate than this one. That 03A4 shoots sub MOA. This gun shoots about 3 inches at 100 yards. And I'm sure I could probably get it better with that. That's just shooting surplus corrosive ammunition through it, the silver tip. Corrosive ammo, I'm getting about 3 inches with it. And that's me not really taking my time. I haven't really sat down and tried to do bench rest shooting with it. But it's fun to shoot. It's a cool piece of history, and a neat gun. Today the PU snipers are, oh geez, they're $800 to over $1,000, and I just couldn't justify spending that much money on a Mosin Nagant. I wish I bought one back when they were $500, but those deals aren't around anymore. So I decided to build my own, and I have less than $500 into this gun. And that's why I built it this way, and I kind of wanted to talk to you guys about how you can do that as well. It's really not all that hard. I did all the work myself, except for purchasing this bolt off of eBay. It is going to require you to drill and tap the receiver on your gun. As you can see right there, those are two screws. So in order to mount this scope mount on your rifle, you're going to need to, basically, you're going to have to mount. There's one good video on YouTube where the guy uses a hand drill. I'm fortunate enough to have a drill press, which really helped. But basically, there's a mount right here that's going to mount on the side of the gun. You're going to have to drill 2 holes and tap them for the specific threads, the screws that mount this on. Once you do that, you mount this guy on, and really the most time-consuming process is you're going to be trying to sight in the scope, and either filing down the tabs on the back of the mount here. And then one more thing you do have to do is you do have to cut and relieve the stock in order for the mount to fit. You got to cut down. I took a little bit too much off, but you know what? It was my first time ever doing this, and like I said, I bought this gun for less than $100, so it still turned out pretty well. I used a Dremel and files to cut this out, and I relieved it in the back a little bit more, so I didn't want recoil splitting my stock or anything like that. But this is the way it turned out. This is not an original PU sniper scope. However, I did get it off of Amazon. I think it's from Texas Precision. So far it holds at 0 and does well. And it's made out of steel. It's not a cheap aluminum. So it's heavy duty, which I like. And it does have the kind of the crosshairs and sickle right here. 1942. Not real, but it is it works. I'm not a huge fan of this particular scope from Texas Precision Optics because I still haven't figured out a way to precisely adjust the knobs on here. So when you like zero it in, obviously you want, you know, the one on here to be at 100 meters. And in order to do that, you're gonna have to adjust your elevation knob, gross elevation on the back right here. But you're still gonna have to make fine adjustments. And when you make fine adjustments, you're gonna have to turn the turret. And mine didn't exactly line up with one. And I unscrewed these two screws on top and loosened this, and it still doesn't allow me to make that fine adjustment to where I can return the silver piece right here to 1 and make it correct. If you understand what I'm saying. I know it's kind of confusing to explain, but I emailed them and they haven't gotten back to me, so I'm curious. If they don't, I'll keep the scope for a while because it works, but eventually I'll probably replace it with something else. So yeah, here's the total. Here's the finished product. Like I said, I got the bent bolt from eBay, and it's pretty well made. It's kind of in a satin finish, like it looks like it was bead blasted. And the knob isn't welded on. I think it's epoxied on. And this is welded on. You can see the weld marks up top and down here. It looks like he drilled the hole in the top, drilled the hole here, put whatever this is in there, and then welded it in place. So that's good. At least it's welded. It's not screwed in. So scope itself was, scope and mount was about $200 off of eBay. The rifle, we'll round it up to $100. So that's $300 so far. And then the bolt itself cost me a little under $100, which is quite a bit. I could have probably got it cheaper, but so $400 into this gun. Maybe a little bit less, a little bit more. I can't exactly remember. Oh yeah, and I bought this guy. This is an original Russian PU scope cover, and that was like $30. So $430, and I built this, and it shoots good, 3 inches at 100 yards with surplus ammo. I'm fine with that. So the reason I was making this video is to show you guys that if you can't afford a real PU sniper, or you just can't justify spending that much money on a Mosin, you can build one. And I know some people will get upset because you're, destroying a piece of history is what they say. Yeah, in my opinion, you're not destroying it. If it's in your personal collection and you do this to it and you let people know that you did this to it and you're not trying to sell it as a fake, you're not doing anything wrong. It's your gun. You can do what you want with it. I've seen people take these Mosins, and I'm sure you have too, and tactical them out and put, black stocks and rails and new optics and all that stuff on there, and they're drilling and tapping stuff too with rock solid mounts and things like that. To me, that you're destroying more of a historical artifact doing that than you are doing this, because you're keeping it in its original configuration as a sniper. I mean, this is still the original stock that came with the gun. All the parts are still original except for that scope mount and that bolt, turned up bolt. Everything else is matching numbers and original. So pretty cool, fun to shoot. Recommend doing it if you want to. If you don't have a drill press, you can still do it by hand, and there's a video on YouTube where a gentleman does that, and he does a really good job. So it's not all that hard to do. I know it's really intimidating drilling holes in the side of your receiver of your gun, but if you read the directions online on how to put them on, read some forums, get a good drill bit and some cutting oil and the right tap, and you'll be just fine if you take your time with it. That's the main thing. Take your time, don't get in a rush, and it'll turn out well. This is my first time ever drilling and tapping a receiver on any gun, and I figured I would do it with my $80 Mosin rather than something else, and it turned out well. The receiver is hard, but it's not nearly as hard as like a 1903 A4 or anything like that, or 1903 A3. That drill bit I had cut through there pretty quick. I'll just keep the cutting oil on it, and it'll work its way through. So it's really all you need to do is drill and tap, mount that mount on the side, and then cut out that relief in the stock and zero your scope in it. before you get to the range, and then do the fine adjustments when you get to the range. What I mean by zeroing your scope in before you get to the range is you're going to have to make gross adjustments. Excuse me, I'm drinking my coffee. So you're going to have to make gross adjustments. So the way I did that is I taped the target 10 yards away to put this in a gun vise. I pulled the bolt out, and I looked down the barrel to where all I could see was the center of that target, looking down the bore of my barrel. And then I looked through the scope and saw where the scope was at compared to the bore and what I was seeing through the bore. And if the scope was too low, you would have to tilt the back of the scope up, so the scope's looking more up. Vice versa, if the scope's looking too high, you need to tilt the front of the scope down and the back of the scope up. And the way to do that is with these gross elevation screws in the back right here. So basically unscrew this guy a little bit and then make those adjustments right here. And then for the windage is a little bit more time consuming, because if your scope is off, you're either going to have to file down the tabs that are on the back of this mount right here, or shim it. Put shims in there. Hopefully you don't have to shim it. Usually these mounts come with a lot of extra material, so you're going to have to take some material off with a file. And I ended up doing that, and it did. It lines up pretty good with the center of the bore, or center of the rifle. And if it doesn't line up perfectly, you can always shim it to make it line up. So that's kind of the way it looks. I don't know if you can get the picture into the optic there, but it's got fine crosshairs. I don't know if I can get that. Hang on a second. Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to get it for you guys. But anyways, this is the final product. I'm pretty much done with it. And the only other thing I might do is refinish the stock, make it a little bit darker. But I do kind of like the old look of it, so I might just leave it. Let me know what you guys think. Yeah, go ahead and leave me any questions, comments about this rifle, how to build one, where to get parts, or how to put the mount on. Feel free to leave me any comments on those. Don't leave me any comments saying I destroyed a piece of history, how dare you. I'm not going to reply, so you're going to be wasting your breath, or wasting your finger typing. So wasting your time, basically. Anyways, hope you guys liked the video. If so, please like, subscribe to my channel, and I'll try to get more gun reviews, and I'll try to get some more gun stuff out on the range. So anyways, hope you guys have a great day or night wherever you're at, and take care.